All right, Rocket.
Cool.
First of all, pleasure. I'm glad you guys took the time for this, and I know there's a lot of questions that obviously, I mean, you're very involved with the Reddit community, so I know you're seeing all these questions, and it's kind of a cool, I guess, thing for you to come here and show people what you've got and hopefully get some questions answered. So why don't you go ahead and show us kind of, I know you were working on a build last night or this morning getting stuff done. So tell us, I mean, what's new with the latest build and what are we going to see in the new standalone?
Yeah, I guess the first caveat is that it's not an E3 showcase, it is a development build, so you'll see plenty of DayZ fun, yeah. But I guess our big focus has been turning it into an MMO, and I really can't stress that enough. I guess I say that all the time, I just have to keep saying it. Oh man, the zombie is attacking me straight away. Yeah, so the idea was to make DayZ much more fluid. Oh man, it's got me from the back. I'm used to an inverted mouse as well. Yeah, so we looked at the original mod and we said, what do we need to do that's different? And everybody knows about like the interiors and stuff like that. But yeah, using the control scheme sometimes with armor and using the inventory system was really overly complicated. So we spent a lot of time and we come up with what we think is a much better inventory system. And I realized that, so these boxes are just temporary. There's a lot of stuff that's still just temporary. But the idea is to have it a lot more fluid so that it's very easy to drag stuff together. So these are two sections of a map here. They're on my quickbar. And I can actually open it up so you can see this is just a section of the map. So you can find that and which button is it here? And you can actually find pieces of the map, put the maps together, and you get a combined map. So where is it? It's
so the whole map is finished then. So you're saying, have you guys? I mean, what's the status?
We're still redeveloping it. Yes. We're still redeveloping it, and we'll be redeveloping it for some time. So you can see I've put these two bits together, and you can see here that in development, all this northern sector of the map is new, and so yeah, it's all in development. In fact, I can even show you. I'm going to get accused of using hacks in my own game here. You just watch. I'll see the posts. Development console, camera. Yeah, so I can head north, and you can actually see we're using real satellite data, and this is all work in progress to, redevelop it. But there's a whole bunch of new stuff, and we've increased the resolution of the whole world of the satellite textures, so it all looks like a lot nicer. Oh, I've gone off the map here. I've gone north. Yeah, there we go, I'm back in. Yeah, so I guess the biggest thing for me, other than the whole MMO thing, is the ability to put your clothes on and off and all that kind of stuff. Just a lot of, and it doesn't seem like a huge deal, but it's going to add so much more depth to the game. Your character looks a lot more customized because it's based on what you found. And the crafting system. So these are purification tablets, and that's a pond water. So I could drink that if I wanted to, but if I put Puri tabs on, it's a lot better to drink it that way. Yeah.
So Matt was actually talking about the fact that you're wanting to immerse this as if like, how would you survive the zombie apocalypse? So every player kind of has their idea of how they would do it. So you're turning this into an MMO. What other kind of fun immersion things? I know you have like War of the World. What's up? Okay, so I guess one of the big things, I'll just ask you like 2 or 3 quick questions from Reddit, because I know there's a couple things.
I know we don't have much time, so I'll try, at the end of today, I'll go on and I'll try and answer as many of the questions as I have time for.
Totally, yeah. So I think one of the big things is they had polls going on of like the biggest questions they wanted answered. So tell me about the humanity system. What's being done with that?
Yeah, well actually, we're leaving the humanity system out for the moment because there's been so much change. We need to see what happens. Like there's so many different ways you can kind of play DayZ now. We want to see what happens with that. One thing we are doing is you can now use the function keys. There's a whole bunch of different gestures that you can do. We're actually going to reserve these function keys for facial gestures. So one of the things we wanted to do with humanity was have it so that it's much more subtle. So maybe your face changes on the basis of the humanity, you know, what your play style is, and the idea is to get the alpha out and get a reaction from the community to all the elements. Once we've got those, then we're going to look at what to do with humanity.
So what kind of threat are the zombies going to become? I know that you guys have changed the mapping system of how they run and everything. Are people going to have to team up in order to survive some of these bigger towns and like the Northern Airfield?
Well, the environment has become an antagonist now. So the environment's a significant part of it as well. And I'm hoping that a zombie will run up to me and do a jumping attack so I can show that. But why is it when you want a zombie to attack you, you can't find one? Yeah, so the idea is that the zombies AI at the moment is heavily a work in progress. But they should run up to me and hopefully jump attack me. Yeah, so unfortunately we've got a bug at the moment where the attacks aren't sequenced with the effect. But you can see now, so the player can get knocked over and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot more of a like fluidity that we wanted between it.
So I think one of the things personally for me, when you're playing Arma and when you're playing, I guess, Arma 2 specifically, it's almost harder to see people when they're up close as compared to when they're 600 meters away. Have you guys done anything to fix that sort of issue?
Yeah, well, a lot of settings are controlled server side, and because of the MMO improvements, we're fiddling with like how grass view distance happens and all that kind of thing. It's going to be a work in progress. Like, we really have to get the alpha out and just see what the reaction is. And then that's where places like Reddit and the DayZ forums and even places like 4chan are really useful, because then we can get feedback on that. I think that's why getting the alpha out really, really, really soon is important, because we've reached a point where we need to get some mass feedback on it. But then when we do the release, we got to do it properly. So it's complicated.
So I guess one last question. You know, you're very close with the Reddit community and the people who love your game, and you're very involved with them. Is there anything you want to say to kind of like, I know some people are concerned, but some people are really excited. I mean, just to talk to them, and anything you kind of want to say and put out for them?
Well, I think the most important thing is that we get the alpha out and that we make sure it's good. Like, the best way to combat criticism would be by delivering on, you know, what we've said we're going to deliver on. So that's really our focus, and I think the most important thing is that we're not using an old engine. We're not using the take-on helicopter engine. This is a new engine. It might look very similar, but we've gutted it and made it an MMO. And that's probably the single biggest and most important thing we've done. Because without that, we just felt DayZ was going to die. Like, it's only private servers and private hives that have made the DayZ mod survive. So we're sort of hopeful that by going back to the basics that we've tackled with the important issues. But there's going to be a lot of problems and a lot of things we need to change, and I think that's where getting people involved, like, you know, really good projects I enjoy, like Prison Architect and KSP, they get a lot of feedback from the community, and the actual direction of the game changes as a result.
Rocket, you're phenomenal. Thank you for the time.
Cool.
And I know a lot of people are going to be excited about this.
Yeah,
so
it's unfortunate I didn't get a time to answer all the questions, but I'll go on tonight and answer as many as I can. So.
do your thing. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Cool.
Thanks again.